Okay. Let's see. We up? We live? Looks like we are live. Okay. How's it going, Knick fans? It's Jack here. I'm doing another solo podcast tonight. I hope y'all are well. If you're watching this stream, I appreciate everyone who liked and subscribed pre-stream. I know I was reaching out. 19th episode. We're coming up on the big number 20. I've been having a great time podcasting for anyone who's watching. I just love watching the Knicks, so this is a pleasure to me. Anyway, let's get right into the live stream. We got a lot to talk about tonight, which is a good thing, but I also have plenty of criticisms tonight regarding how we played in the fourth quarter in particular. I'd say the first three quarters of basketball, phenomenal quarters of basketball, and then when it came to when it mattered, it just didn't look right. So we'll get into that. But first off, I'd like to do a little new segment that I think would be a little fun. I want to talk about Clyde's vocab. We'll talk Clyde's special words of the day. I wrote down a few just during the game, to pass the time. Ambidextrous. I don't know. I can't even pronounce some of these words, quite frankly. I just wrote them down. He was tantalizing the Bulls. They're lethargic, auspicious, lackadaisical. That's our special Clyde words of the day right there. Clyde Walt Frazier, one of the best commentators in basketball. Although he stutters on some of his words, I love the guy so much. But you know what? Let's get straight into it. I was lucky enough to have a miniature conversation with Stephen Bondi today. Or Stefan Bondi. I'm sorry if I incorrectly pronounced your name. I'm not very good at that. But I was lucky enough to record it. And I want to share it with you guys. It was regarding the Lonzo Ball trade rumors. I think it's relevant to the last upload I did regarding Lonzo Ball and Derrick Rose. And he had very different opinions and very different views on the trade than I did, where he said we should probably be giving up someone like R.J. Barrett or Mitchell Robinson in exchange for Lonzo Ball, which I thought was a big asking price. Although, I'll let you guys tune in, hear what he has to say, and I'll be right back.
Ask questions, ask away, and again, my specialty is about the Knicks, and I'm looking forward to talking with you guys.
Hey man, how are you?
Good, man. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. I just had a question, kind of an opinionated question regarding someone like Lonzo Ball. I've heard his name thrown around a little bit in Knicks trade rumors lately. Do you have any idea of what you think we'd have to give up for him, potentially for even maybe a half year of play?
Yeah, he's one of the names that's been thrown around there too, and I assume there's going to be a lot of questions about trades because that's a lot of what fans are interested in. And if we're going to mention Lonzo Ball, we also have to mention guys like Victor Oladipo, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine. They all fit kind of into that category. I think Lonzo Ball, because of his pending free agency, he's probably still going to call. I mean, the Pelicans, from my understanding, still view him very highly. So he's going to cost the Knicks a first-round pick, certainly. And then the Knicks have to decide whether they want to throw somebody like R.J. Barrett into the mix to get a deal done. There's going to be a market for somebody like Lonzo Ball. And the Knicks aren't, the Knicks have the assets to make the trade. They've set themselves up in a situation where they are in the market for this big trade. They have $18 million in cap space that they have to use before the trade deadline, or else it disappears because they didn't use it in free agency. So that they might be that third team, right, in a deal that takes back unwanted salary, and that's something else that we can talk about later too. But I think for making a deal for somebody like Lonzo Ball, I think that starts with a first-round pick, and maybe somebody like Mitchell Robinson as well. It's going to be expensive, and in my opinion, not worth it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right, bro.
So there you have it. Stefan Bondi on Lonzo trade rumors. He gave very valuable input. Obviously, he's not a big fan of the trade. And if you're in chat, if you're interested, if you know anything about it, I'd love to hear your opinions on whether or not we should make a trade like that for Lonzo Ball or whether or not it's overpaying. Because obviously we've needed a franchise point guard for a while, and now we have someone like Quickley emerging. So it's kind of it's obviously just always going to be an opinionated question. It depends. Do you like Lonzo or do you like Quickley? And if you like Lonzo more than you like Quickley, then do you package someone like Mitchell Robinson for him, which is a big time deal, but you have to make sacrifices for good players. So it's definitely a conversation to be had. I think that it's very valuable input that he also mentioned we should have to add a first-round pick in a trade like that. Giving up that much for a guy who could only be here for half a year just really doesn't make sense if you're thinking about it that way. But hypothetically, if the Knicks do make a trade at the deadline, this guy's got the inside information on it. So it may look a little bit like that. Knicks fans may not like it. But I feel it's more important to talk about the Chicago game right now. I will say Payton had a great game tonight. I hate on Payton a lot for good reason, too. The man is not an efficient three-point shooter. He's not our guy. But tonight he had a great night. 20 points. 4 assists, 8 rebounds. He was effective tonight. He played 35 minutes. We're not going to see him play like this every night with Quickley's emergence. But at the same time, that's nothing, it's nothing to complain about. 9 for 19. He put up a lot of bricks in the second half. He played a very efficient first half. And you can say that about a lot of the players on the Knicks tonight, which is kind of a shame. But the second half of basketball just wasn't nearly as entertaining or as good as the first half. I mean, we just played more lackluster in the second half, and it was almost like we were just giving up. And, we've learned, and I know any basketball player has learned this, that when you're up by 20, you don't just take your foot off the gas, because then that's an easy comeback for the other team. Now, that is definitely what happened tonight. I know that even though we won, I'm not as satisfied as a lot of fans probably are right now with this win. We lost the other night in a very disappointing loss, and then we won even though this was still a disappointing win in a weird way. But, if you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. It just wasn't a good fourth quarter. We had several turnovers at least. I'm not sure. I wasn't even counting. It was just happening so fast that we almost lost. I mean, we're talking about the Bulls hit 1 or 2 more threes, and this game is over. And the Knicks just didn't perform up to the standard I'd hoped that they would tonight. But I want to get a little bit into the individual performances like usual. I'll start actually a little differently today. I'll start with the bench and I'll go up. Obviously, we had Emmanuel Quickley play tonight. Elfrid Payton was having such a good game that Quickley just couldn't really fill in any of those minutes, which makes sense. I understand. And it was kind of unfortunate. I'm not sure if he intentionally meant to do it or not, which still makes sense, but he did miss a free throw at the very end. Kind of hurts his percentage a little bit, 50 on the game. Especially because if you don't watch the Knicks, Emmanuel Quickley is one of the best free throw shooters in the NBA right now, especially at his position. I mean, we're talking about a point guard who can shoot free throws. That's something the Knicks haven't seen in a long time. So it's kind of a shame that he killed his percentage a little bit there, but that's not the point. Anyway, he had 9 points tonight, 2 turnovers, which is a little disappointing, 1 personal foul, although the 1 personal foul was on a fast break, so it did make sense to foul in that situation, so that's an okay foul. The 2 turnovers, he needs to kind of cut down on that, especially if he's only playing 13 minutes. And the 1 assist and 1 rebound. He played a fine game tonight. I had no complaints. He chucks up some questionable shots here and there, but tonight I feel like it was better. It was, I feel like running down in the third quarter, he was dribbling around half court and then he just totally botched his floater, which is something you don't see a lot from Emmanuel Quickley. You usually see him put that down, but tonight, different story. It's okay. He's a rookie. Inconsistencies will happen. Anyway, moving up a little bit more, we got Alec Burks. He also had more of a lackluster game tonight. I know I'm using that word a lot, but he just didn't play to the standard that I like Alec Burks to play at. He's the guy who I feel like we're probably going to part ways with at the deadline, especially if, where we're not over 500. I feel like, and I've said it multiple times and I'll say it again, is that if we're not 500 by the deadline, or if we're 5 or 6 games under 500, we're going to part ways potentially with guys like Randall, with guys like Alec Burks, Austin Rivers. They're all good trade pieces for contenders. And I say Randall, even though he's playing really good, there's always a market for players like that. I'm not sure which team in particular will want him, but at the end of the day, it's Julius Randle, and he's averaging, what is it, like 22, 11, and 6 on the season? I mean, that's elite numbers. That's all-star starter numbers, if I do say so myself. So we got Julius Randle also, who had 27 points tonight, 3 turnovers, which is actually a little under his average, surprisingly, and 2 personal fouls. And he played 38 minutes, which is great. 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals. He played a good game tonight. The free throw shooting definitely could have been better. I know he missed that one free throw at when he had an and one in the first quarter, so that kind of wasn't surprising to me. But, it happens. Sometimes you miss those sorts of free throws, but 0 for 2 is just not Randall. I heard a stat that he was shooting 51 for 56 in the last 10 or so games, something like that, and he botched 2 tonight. So although there was a lot of upside to his game tonight, 5 for 7 from 3. I think that's a career high for him. 5 3-pointers. Phenomenal to see that. The improvements have definitely shown from this offseason. And he shot 11 for 20 on the game. So for me, he played the best game on the Knicks tonight. I don't think anyone played better than him. I don't even think Payton played better than him, although Payton had the game of the night interview. I think Julius Randle was the real player tonight who led us to the win. I'll kind of go back in order here. Austin Rivers played 18 minutes. He didn't play a great game. I didn't really think he was that effective when he's out on the floor. His defense wasn't that great. 5 and 2 turnovers with a steal and assists and 3 rebounds. I mean, that's typical stats for Austin. I'm happy he hit his free throws, but 1 for 4 just isn't going to cut it. Like when Alec Burks is out there and he shoots 1 for 5, at least he plays decent defense. Whereas I feel like Austin Rivers is just a more offensive-oriented player where the defense isn't going to be there as much. Nerlens Noel played another great game tonight. People look at the stat sheet and they say, well, that's not a great game. To me, that's a great game. The 3 blocks stands out big time. He had 5 blocks last night, 2 nights ago versus Chicago on Monday. And then he has 3 blocks tonight. 8 blocks in 2 games is a pretty big deal, especially for a guy coming off the bench playing 20 minutes. I think he played somewhere upwards of 30 minutes the other night. So, in 50 minutes, the dude's getting 8 blocks? That's got to be a crazy per 36. But 4 points tonight, 2 turnovers and 2 personal fouls. The fouling is going to happen inevitably with the centers, and that's just a league-wide known thing. Especially because he's going up for as many blocks as he's going up for. As long as he has more blocks than fouls, I'm okay with it. The 2 turnovers, not really excusable, and I would hope maybe he could grab some more rebounds. I know the Chicago Bulls weren't terrible on the offensive glass tonight, but they just couldn't get their second shot opportunities to go down, so we got lucky. But we played good defense tonight, way better defense than the night before on our closeouts. But I'll move on now to Obi Toppin. I'd say Obi Toppin had a good game because he only played 10 minutes, and I do believe he did. But there was some inconsistencies again. He went for a Kobe, Michael Jordan fadeaway shot, and he airballed it. That was a little disappointing. But he just has to kind of change his shot selection. And then we definitely got a good prospect in Obi. He's not going to the rim with confidence. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure that he went to the rim this game at all. Which is kind of his strong suit too. So I think maybe he just needs to pack on more muscle. He needs to get more experience in practice. And then there's definitely a lane for him there. RJ Barrett tonight, he had 17 points on 8 for 16. He didn't play a great second half. What's up, Angie? How you doing? Appreciate you for joining up. I don't know if you have any Knick-related questions here, but go ask away. I'll answer anything I can. But I was just saying, RJ Barrett, my favorite player personally. He went 8 for 16 tonight, 17 points. 4 turnovers, which is a little disappointing. I feel like if you have the ball in your hands, I can understand why you get 2 or more turnovers, around there. But the 4 turnovers for me was just a little too much tonight. Anyway, 2 personal fouls. They weren't bad fouls. And then he came in with 2 assists and 7 rebounds. It's just RJ Barrett type of stats, so I understand. But the second half, like I said, was just ugly. I think he had 14 going into half. So we're talking about only 3 points after halftime. That's just disappointing in my eyes. What is a Knick? Well, the New York Knicks, Angie, my basketball team, you know them. Funny story for anyone who's watching the live stream. Me, Angie, Lily, and Anthony, we went to the mall, and that's actually where I got this hat for about $20. It was very worth purchase. I wear this thing every live stream, so I'm happy I have it. Knicks4Clicks, we talk Yankees, Giants, Knicks. More Knicks when I'm alone, but I really do want to talk Yankees and Giants soon if we can. Coming up for the football free agency, the NFL free agency will come up soon. And trades are obviously happening, and then the Yankees, they've signed a few pieces, a few key guys, traded a few key guys. So definitely I'll talk about there. But anyway, Elfrid Payton, like I mentioned, 20 points tonight, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Very impressive for Elfrid Payton, especially because I really don't believe in him that much anyway. Like, he had a really good game tonight, played 35 minutes, which is encouraging to see, but he's just not the point guard of the future. He's already in his prime at this point. So, oh, wow. That's a little disrespectful, don't you think? Anyway, the Greenway, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. The Green Bay Packers are, I'm pretty sure, a football team, and the Knicks are a basketball team, so I applaud you for that. But what I will say is, oh yeah, I forgot, you should have gotten, no, not the Hello Kitty one. That's definitely not what I'd be wearing on this live stream right now, I guarantee you that much. But I'll get a little bit more into the players here. I can go on and on about Elfrid Payton, but I'm going to be saying the same thing over and over again. He's just a guy who has good games once every 10 games. It's just what happens. It's good to see him having a great game tonight. Good to see him get in the post-game interview, get his confidence back a little bit. But yeah. And Mitchell Robinson, 3 for 5. 8 points. He could not hold on to the ball in the fourth quarter. It was disgusting. I absolutely hated it. But he broke down 11 rebounds. I feel like he had like 10 rebounds or something in the third quarter, so we only see him coming in with 1 rebound late in the game. I don't understand that. But the 8 points, that's normal for Mitch. The 3 personal fouls, a little disappointing because the fouls weren't great. And then we had that 1 turnover, which I'm pretty sure he just kind of like dropped the ball. I'm not sure, but he played a fine game tonight, hit his free throws. That's all I could really ask for. You don't have to apologize. If you don't like the Knicks and you're here, I still appreciate you. As long as you tune in, that means a lot. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about Reggie Bullock now. And if you haven't liked, subscribed, go ahead, do that. Only if you're enjoying the stream, no. I'm not forcing you to like and subscribe at all. Just enjoy the stream. But Reggie Bullock, 27 minutes tonight, 4 for 7, 9 points. I honestly didn't expect much more, but very good game from Reggie Bullock. I was happy with it. Played good defense. 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. I'd maybe want that percentage up a little bit. That's the only criticism I have, but still a great game tonight nonetheless. 4 rebounds, no assists, but you don't expect the catch and shoot player to have assists. It just doesn't make sense like that. And then the key piece of this team, I talked about him a little bit, I covered him, but I have to say it again, Julius frickin' Randle. I absolutely hated this dude last season. I called him a Beyblade probably for most of the season. And he's just been proving me wrong all year. This guy deserves to be an all-star starter, deserves to be at least an all-star selection. And here he is shooting 11 for 20. Really good. 5 for 7 from 3. Career high, or not career, yeah, actually career high, I'm pretty sure, in 3-pointers made in the game. So that's very encouraging to see. He's definitely proved that his shot is working out. 6 assists, 6 rebounds. I already covered that. 2 steals. Played some good defense tonight. And actually was under his, I think, average turnovers for the season, which is also good in 38 minutes. But that's we kind of covered a little bit, or I'm sorry, a lot of it about the Knicks. We shot 50% from 3 tonight. That's very encouraging to see. Julius Randle really carried that for us. And 48 from the field. That's interesting to see, though, that we shot better from 3 than we did from the field. Not a lot of teams should be doing that, but we did. So good on us, right? And I will say our defense tonight was absolutely phenomenal. Well, I wouldn't say absolutely phenomenal, actually. I'll take that back. I feel like Zach LaVine missed a lot of open shots. I mean, the dude went 0 for 7 from 3, probably one of his worst games. Now, I'm not going to say worst, just worse games this season. Shooting 0 for 7, being a spot-up 3-point shooter, as well as, an athletic player, but a spot-up 3-point shooter, nonetheless, 0 for 7 is nothing. You cannot excuse that, even if you're getting contested. But they shot 16.7% from 3 tonight, so clearly our 3-point defense has improved from last game. The closeouts got a lot tighter, So very, very good game tonight. We held Garrett Temple pretty well. Denzel Valentine heated up a little bit, but then he cooled down. So that's kind of how they got back in the game. Thaddeus Young really killed us in both these games. He was a triple-double threat last game, which I didn't mention. In this game, he drops 19, 4, and 2 with 5 steals. He contributed to 5 of our turnovers, which is unreal. Just one player doing that in only 26 minutes. Shooting extremely efficiently, 9 for 11, although he couldn't put down a 3 tonight, and his free throw shooting was not that great. But obviously, Thaddeus Young and Zach LaVine, despite his bad three-point shooting, were the MVPs of this Bull team tonight, even though they didn't play that great. But, we've kind of covered it. I do want to talk just a little bit more. I see, do you think? Just got to finish that question, and I will definitely answer it. Let's see. I want to talk, do you think Carmelo? I'm not sure what that question really means, but at the same time, I know who Carmelo Anthony is. Carmelo Anthony, one of my favorite players. Okay, it's getting a little graphic. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, we've improved to 10 and 13 on the season, which is big time. And let's see. So yeah, we've improved to 10 and 13 on the season. That's big time. We're 6 and 8 away, which is a big deal because I know we're not a great home team sometimes. I know we're probably about 500 or a little under 500 from home this season, which has been, it hasn't been super encouraging. I'm not sure if the not having fans has helped more than it's hurt, because I know the players like to feed off of that energy, but I also know that the opposing teams like to feed off of that energy. But it's good to see us taking a win against the Bulls, who I know are also going to be a team that'll be contending for that playoff spot, number 8 or 7, wherever the Knicks fall, and also the play-in tournament. We may meet them there. So it's really good experience getting a back-to-back game against them. But I see we've been live for, I'd say, how long have we been live? We've been live for about 23 minutes. If you guys have any final questions to put in the chat, I'd really appreciate them. But I feel like it's been a good stream. Yeah, and I have school tomorrow as well, so I definitely got to get off a little earlier tonight, But I think the next game the Knicks play is going to be Friday, so that'll be a fun post game. And we may even do a pregame, depends how I'm feeling. But please, if you did enjoy, please like, subscribe. You could always call in too, 203-961-3409. All calls are appreciated. And soon we're going to be transferring over to an app called Locker Room. I put it in the description. Our @ is Knicks4Clicks. And if you just follow our account, you'll get any notifications when we go live, and you'll be able to call in with ease. You'll be able to just click on a button, request to join. That's exactly how I talked to Stephen Bondi earlier. And, you're going to be able to ask plenty of questions. Anyway, if y'all did enjoy, though, please drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. All right.